So now we move on to the next session, which is on artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is something which is a very much requisite and integral part of how future is going to evolve. But along with that, it always has a scary picture. All the Hollywood and international and Indian sci-fi movies give a good picture. But anyway, not delving on that, I would like to, in fact, share a small data point which is given out by PwC, and it indicates that AI will contribute upwards of $15 trillion to the global economy, which will be more than output of China and India today combined. So today AI is all about upping the operational efficiency, recoverability from faults and failures, forecasting changes, efficient resources, workload planning and provisioning, and above all, how the scale of operation itself going to change the entire workflow. So today we have very long set of speakers who are going to speak on this. And the first speaker for this session, I would like to invite Mr. Sunil Ravlani, who is an expert digital transformation. Please welcome him with a round of applause. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Expert, I don't know. I learn every morning and every evening, and I learn the most from my children, especially from my son, who built a startup under the age of 18. And after that, I stopped advising startups when he did that. So whatever investment was made, he got a return of X, I got a return of 20X from that experience. So let's see if I have luck with my presentation. I want the slides. So I'm going to talk, this session is on AI, but I'm going to be a little different. You've been, swallowing down technology from the morning, right? And you're going to keep swallowing technology through the afternoon. So I thought I'll take a little break and talk about the philosophical side of a deep subject of technology, which is artificial intelligence, right? And one more reason I want to talk about it is I think it's time to pause and think about what are we really doing with technology? Are we substantially improving our lives and the lives of the future generations that are coming? Are we really doing that with technology? Arun, you started in the morning and you had a pen and paper talk, right? And you actually apologized because you didn't have a presentation. Do we need to do that? Aren't we over-dependent on technology that he actually thought he had to apologize because he doesn't have a presentation? And on the other hand, Prasanna had a huge presentation and was still handicapped to start. And that is what actually shows how we are actually just seemingly over-dependent on technology. So let me try and take a philosophical side to two things, because intelligence actually as a subject is closest to philosophy. Anybody studied philosophy ever? Okay, 15-minute philosophy class, right? So it falls in the domain of thinking, intelligence, and knowledge, right? We can all think, right? Whether we are smart or not, all of us possess the ability to think. A lion, an ant, a grasshopper, a fish in the sea, we don't know. If you cannot think, you cannot find your way, right? Intelligence is the ability to see what's happening around you and then build on that. Okay, I saw something, I touched something, a hot water kettle, it's hot. Next time, I won't touch it. I learned. That's intelligence, right? Knowing right from wrong. Knowledge is what you learn over a period of time. Yeah? With due respect to the ladies in the audience, so if intelligence is knowing what is right or wrong, knowledge is knowing when to shut up when your wife is wrong. Right? Do you agree with this? Especially for those of you who have kids, you might want to introspect on this. We're talking about artificial intelligence, but what we really should be doing is making humans more intelligent, isn't it? Not trying to create intelligent machines. Is that right? Anyone know who said this? René Descartes. René Descartes was a philosopher, French philosopher actually. Most philosophers were actually Greek, but he was a French philosopher. And he says his question and job of a philosopher is to just think to almost to death, right? Just to think, do we exist? Do what is there? Anyone follow Elon Musk? Anybody follow Elon Musk? We all follow Elon Musk. He says life is a simulation. Have you heard him say that? Have you watched his video on saying life is a simulation? So, you've got to touch the person next to you and see whether he actually exists. Do I really exist? Am I really here? So René Descartes, did a lot of work on this subject, and he comes up with the thinking that the only thing I can be sure of, I am not sure about anything, but the only thing I really know is that I can think. I have the ability to think, and I cannot think if I don't exist. And therefore, he says, we exist, and therefore that's the only ability is that you can think. Now, the philosophical definition of intelligence, anybody want to guess? Philosophical definition of intelligence? I'll read this out, okay? Artificial intelligence is a field devoted to building artificial animals, or at least artificial creatures that appear to be animals, and for artificial persons. For many, they appear to be artificial persons. And for some people, they appear to be real persons. This is the philosophical definition from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, that is all you're actually creating, right? What's the difference between a human and an animal? Please be with me. What's the difference between a human and an animal? Animals have only one purpose, which is survival, for which they need to feed and they need to procreate. That is the only purpose animals have. The differential that humans have is intelligence, right? You have the ability to introspect. That is what this human life has. So if you're trying to create a machine, can that machine introspect? And I'll come back to more on those points, right? So I'm going to get you a little deeper into philosophy now, right? A little more deeper. You just got to look at this slide, but don't get embroiled in it, right? I'm going to tell you how sophisticated your mind is. There are 25 gross kind of objects in simulation that your mind can actually play with. Forms, feelings, discriminations, and moving across that matrix. The best different kinds of wisdom that you have, the fact that you can understand equanimity, the fact that you have different senses. How many of you all know Watson, right? Watson is the biggest AI computer today. How much of this is there in Watson? Can you take a guess in percentage terms? Does Watson even have 5% of this? Watson is able to go through huge amounts of data and algorithms, but does it have anything that comes close to 5% of what is there in this? And if any of you has been thinking that humankind is being challenged by AI, when you understand this slide, you can see that nothing could be further from the truth. What is consciousness? Can a machine ever have emotion? Can Watson tell you a joke? Hey, Watson, tell me a joke today. Can Watson come up with a joke? Hey, Siri, tell me a joke. It tells you a joke. Does it create the joke by itself? Can it create a joke? Can it laugh? Can Siri tell you, oh, I'm feeling depressed today. My mood is off. Can it do that? So the last one there is internal vision, right? How many of you here are meditators? Anybody meditate? So when you meditate, where do you look? Inside. Can you ask Watson to meditate? And then come up after 1 month much more learned. I mean, it can take algorithms and it can take data and then come up with some actions and use those actions to refine the algorithms, which it can apply once again. It can keep doing that. But if nothing happens in the world outside, Watson is dead. Unless I give more data, Watson can't do anything. You can. So I don't want to go into some spiritual thing as well, but this person, Gautama Buddha, sat under a tree and introspected for a very long period of time until he came up with what we call enlightenment, right? So for that, you need a mind. And all we do is, when your computer is not working, something is frozen, you just say, my computer has a mind of its own. It doesn't have a mind. Yeah? That's why you reboot it. So, let me bring AI back down to earth from where we have put it on a pedestal, right? It's just a system to make our lives easier, better, more efficient. That's it, right? It's a very efficient decision-making machine that can be simulated to think, but it cannot think beyond the thought patterns and trends that the data it receives. And its only purpose is optimization and efficiency, and we don't want to build more intelligent people than the humans we already are, right? So AI for me, in that context, you can create a machine because you are intelligent. And therefore, artificial intelligence is actually an oxymoron because you're just creating an animal there, right? Elon Musk, I go back to Elon Musk, and somebody I respected also was Stephen Hawking. He passed away last year, but he wrote a book called The Grand Design. That was the last book that he wrote. And both these people don't support AI. Not because AI does not have a use, but because we have given more importance to AI than needs to be given. And if you think AI can do more for you, then you're actually going to give something which has less intelligence more power. So if you give something that has less intelligence more power, that is what Elon and Stephen Hawking refer to as saying doing something dangerous. So it is good with quantitative methods. You can take statistics, you can take probability, and it can do a damn good job of taking huge data sets, which is what Watson does, right? If Watson is good at oncology or at radiology, it's because it has the data of so many million patients, and the CPU and the storage and the network and the cloud power is just working to go through that far more faster than a human mind can. So that is good. But it is only algorithms and data at the end of the day with quantitative methods. That's it. So let me shift to my experience with AI, right? Sandeep here is going to talk to you more about AI, and we have other people who are going to talk about corporate use cases. I'll talk about my use case, right? And it's nothing different. My use case is the same as your use case. I live on Google, right? And I have nothing to fear in my life, so I have completely opened myself up. Take all my data and tell me how you can make my life better. Yeah, apart from my bank details, which I protect, but that is common sense. You should all protect it. But Google knows I'm sitting here. I'm probably talking to you. When I do what I do with location, what I do with my search, what I read in my email, and it's able to put all that together. So, for example, when I go at night and I open YouTube and I have a feed which is curated with content only for me, it's based on everything that I do. Yeah? That's very, very simply put, AI is just observing, figuring out who I am, what my interests are, where I'm going, and channeling that information for me, And obviously, taking advertisers' contents, everybody who thinks internet and Google is free, by now you know you're the product. So they're able to channelize that for me. But if that's useful for me, much of it, because I don't get blind ads anymore, right? I only get what I'm interested in. So if I'm not scared, if I'm not worried, it works for me, it works for them. It's win-win. That's my view of it. My next experience with AI, and if you can be ready with that video in about 15 seconds, right? I'll just talk and then you can start. Is Amazon. Yeah, after Elon Musk, I respect Jeff Bezos a lot. Amazon is a business that you all know is not profitable, correct? But if you are in a business and Amazon enters that business, you will be out of that business. That is their mantra. That is because they bring excellence with them and they bring the customer being at the center of attention with them. And Amazon is nothing but an amalgamation of everything that you can do with AI. You know, whether it is everything that you do on the website, and then you have products that are tailored for you based on your patterns and experiencing that it's actually analyzing all the time. That's the warehouse in Bhiwandi, by the way, which, as you can see in India, we still have a lot of human interactions. At the bottom is the robotic warehouses that they have in other parts of the world. And Amazon Go is a store which is where you don't have to actually pay the bill, you just pick up the products and walk out. I haven't used one yet, but I'm told that there are a zillion technologies that actually go into Amazon. And I'm not an advocate of Amazon, apart from the fact that I just want to talk about that experience. But here's something from their side that I think portrays that vision. Look at what the employees feel about what they're doing.
The amazing thing about working in robotics is very good. You can literally see come to life inside an Amazon fulfillment. There's nothing like that feeling to see your food actually affect the experiences people have with receiving amazing products.
When you hear the term advanced robotics, you think something out of a science fiction movie or Jetsons, something overly complicated and not actually practical. But here, it's actually just the opposite. We're using robotics to solve complicated, real-world challenges with robotic solutions that are incredibly simple and highly functional. I wish I could have told 10-year-old me that I was going to grow up and do this every day.
And we can stop here.
It is fantastic for working stuff that they're working on.
So I just wanted to show you that the culture behind Amazon, and by the way, that's Amazon Robotics website. You can go and have a look. They offer it as a service to anybody, robotics. But what they're doing is they're bringing all the technologies in at the end of the day for the customer's benefit. And that is what is inculcated in every employee. Amazon is a very difficult place to work, by the way. It's very different from other technology companies. It's a very demanding company because they put the customer first. So, coming back to a little more business kind of discussion down from philosophical plane, you want to improve business efficiency, right? You want to create custom products and target marketing. So if I know who my customers are, I can build products for that audience, and I'll come more to that a little later. Customer segmentation is something we used to do at a very blind level. Now you have everyone, and you can completely change the customer experience, which all of these you'll actually find in the Amazon example I just spoke about. And there's some traditional questions that you can talk about, how it affects the lives of CIOs and organizations and what role you can play, and we can talk about these things over lunch outside. But more important to me is the societal impact that it creates, right? How are we making this world a better place? If you looked at Prasanna's long presentation, he ended with a slide which talks about societal impact. Correct? So I want better healthcare for people. So if Watson, with its algorithms, can be available through a smartphone in a remote village in Telangana, and that doctor can use it to, scan the person and give the treatment back, that is real societal transformation. Yesterday I was looking at a video which is on Bloomberg Quint, which talks about using your iPhone, scanning your skin, and being able to upload those images and being able to predict skin cancer before the current methods can actually do it, right? ThyroCare is a company you're all aware of, right? Buy that stock, take it from me. 2020 is when their game is coming. It's a pathological BPO now, but they're going to move to more radiology, right? So everything that you do with radiology is going to go to ThyroCare and get done for 1/10 of the cost using algorithms, perhaps Watson. I'm not sure. One of the limitations I'm told is Watson costs about 40 crore a year. Subscription to Watson is 40 crore a year. So, we've made it, but it's not accessible. So as a result, there are only 2 companies, I think, in India, or 2 hospitals or 3 hospitals using it. Sunil, do you know which ones they are? I'm told there are only 2 or 3 hospitals actually using it. Kokilabin Hospital, I want to talk about 1 or 2 things. I spoke to some of them there. They've put a use case around antimicrobial treatment where they're getting data from the pharmacy, from the doctors, from the nurses, what was given to the patient to actually see whether a patient is being treated right or not, right? You've heard enough about connected cars and things like that, but all I'm saying is I want my life to be easier. I want it to be safer. And when you talk about cars, I want the correct insurance, right? All of you have cars, right? Who has 2 cars? Who has 2 cars? Those of you who have 2 cars, I have 3 in the family. I have 3 in my name. Today, the big portion in your insurance is the mandatory third-party insurance, right? Why do you pay mandatory third-party on 2 cars? Are you going to bang both the cars at the same time? If you have 3 cars, you have to pay mandatory third-party 3 times. In the US, they insure the driver, not the car. And in India, we sit here and we insure the car, not the driver. I mean, if I have 3 cars, I'll be driving only one at one time. Why do I have to pay third-party on 3 cars? So, you can talk about AI and you can do all these fancy things, but let's deliver on the fundamentals here. And by the way, I lived in the US in 1983 when I went there. They had these models sorted out in 1983. If I had a 2-door car, the insurance was higher. If I have a white car, the insurance is low. If I have a yellow car, the insurance is more. If I have a red car, the insurance is the highest. The moment I become 22 years old, my insurance drops. The moment I become a graduate, my insurance drops. The moment I get married, my insurance drops. What do we have in this country? Insurance got privatized 19 years ago. What have we done? Zilch. Insurance is just mis-selling in this country and nothing else. I have an insurance background. Life insurance. By the way, I'm not insured. I stand in front of you, I have no insurance except medical insurance because the product that I need doesn't exist. Right? They don't differentiate between somebody who runs 16 marathons and somebody who doesn't. So I'm just going to speed through. I want to see good service, right? Whether you're a HDFC Bank, which is India's best digital bank. Is Rajneesh here? I hope I was wishing Rajneesh was here so he could hear it from me firsthand. Right? I'm from the HDFC Group. I'm a HDFC Bank. Rajneesh, you're here. You're asking me to get lost, right? The bank has told me, get lost. We are enough people in this country. We don't need you. So I'd like to be, I'm an Imperial customer from 19 years, by the way. Employee verification. If I get into an Uber, can I be happy that there's the right driver, the right person in there? So can I use AI to do correct biometric or records or whatever it is to know that I'm in safe hands? And also my own privacy and my authenticity when I do payments, when I do electronic transactions, I want to be protected. So I want security as well. And, on that note, above all, it's a note that Prasanna ended on. Can we just leave this world a better place and do what really makes a difference? Not just analytics and robots. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for introducing a fresh perspective on AI this afternoon.